Yo! Video games.
We did go see a movie.
Yes!
We went and saw Venom. Venom. Who else saw Venom? Anybody else?
Who in the chat saw it?
Anybody else see Venom? Oh boy. So it's like,
Whoa!
oh boy. Hi, sweetie. Did you do a full lap?
Yeah.
You have not.
Hey.
Definitely don't want to talk about spoilers.
We can go quick and like give initial thoughts without spoilers, and then go into. I mean, there's not so much like.
I don't think there's much to spoil outside of what potentially one
It's
thing.
called
One
Venom.
thing.
Let there be carnage, and guess what?
Guess what happens?
Guess what? There's Carnage.
Yeah.
It's not,
So I think I'll just be super blunt. I kind of liked Venom 1, right? That movie was getting a lot of flack. And deservedly, it's a crap film. Huh, honey? It's a crap film.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed the relationship between Eddie and Venom.
Yeah.
And the action was kind of fun.
It was done well in the first one.
Here's my problem with Venom 2. I don't like Eddie and Venom in this one. I think Venom's kind of funny, but I think the relationship between the two is more annoying than it is has a little bit of heart like the first one.
They're going through their rough years.
I guess.
And I think it definitely shows in the movie.
They're hitting I think it was described. They're hitting their 7-year itch.
Yes, this is a couples film.
Yeah,
This
it's a couples film.
It's not a buddy cop movie. It's a couples film.
In the first one, it was like them learning to symbiote, essentially.
Yeah.
And there was actually some heartfelt moments and stuff like that, where it's him learning that he's a loser and all this kind of stuff. And that's acknowledged here. But I feel like the way it was handled in the first movie, I don't know if it's just me. I feel like the first movie had more character.
Yes.
This one was action-y.
The thing is, this one they tried to. It's like when the sequel tries to do what the first one did, and they just don't do it.
It feels like they tried to.
Yeah, it's like when Anchorman 1 is oh man, it was great, and Anchorman 2.
Yes, that's the perfect example.
That's what it was. It was like Anchorman 2, where they're like, let's do the first thing, but even more, and it's just like, whoa, chill.
I guess I don't really. Hello.
Did you feel like the same about Venom 1 as in this one?
I think this movie is better than the first third of Venom 1, where there's no Venom.
When there's no Venom.
Right.
Because the first third of Venom, before Venom shows up, it's pretty awful. And this is generally better than that.
It's funny, I will personally disagree, because I found the movie, painful until the last 15 minutes. Where I felt like once the fighting actually started, it was pretty good.
Well, I heard...
Turn off the TV.
No, it's actually blue. It's just blue. I thought it was dumb, but I kind of halfway expected it to be dumb.
Yeah.
And kind of was like, okay, this is gonna be a dumb, whatever. This is gonna be a dumb cheese fest. I think the bigger problem with Venom 2 is more. Boy, there were some really good ideas that could have run with this, and they didn't. It could have been a really tense, mysterious whodunit, like the original Ring. You remember the Ring?
Yeah.
Where there's this big mystery and what happened to these people? Where did the bodies go? Kind of thing. They could have gone in that direction with Cletus Cassie, and it's solved in a minute. So you don't really have this. This could have been this creepy, tense thriller mystery.
Yeah,
didn't go that way. It could have been a straight horror movie.
But they didn't go that way. They go 100% aggressive cheese.
Yeah.
The really, really aggressive cheese. The whole movie.
How hard? I know Max was skin was crawling during the rave scene. I can hear his hurt.
You know what? I'll give this to the rave scene. You know what it did? It did something that Disney refuses to do, which is just flat out. I'm like, this guy is gay. And that's it. He literally says, I'm coming out of the closet.
Yeah.
Which Disney is put it into some background character so we can digitally edit it out for China. So I appreciate the fact that they're just okay, this movie is just absolutely 100% an allegory for this kind of relationship.
My daughter lost the other battery to the remote. I don't know.
She's holding it.
Honey, can I have that battery? Can I have it, sweetie? Thank you, sweetheart. What a good girl.
So I can appreciate that aspect of it, but it's that's a tough scene to film without being cheesy no matter what you do with it.
Yo, Black Hammer, thank you. Here's my other issue is that
It's going off.
I think there is a big problem with the film on a fundamental level, and it's that maybe it's our theater. I could hear possibly half of the things that Venom
I couldn't
said.
understand.
I
Venom
could
most of
understand
the
some of
time.
the things.
He was
Half.
so loud.
So like
It was way.
I don't remember it
worse
being-
than Bane in this theater.
I don't remember it being nearly at chat. Anybody else? I don't remember it being nearly as bad as Venom 1. Maybe it's the theater we watched it in, but I could. Half of the lines Venom said, I don't know what he's saying. I'm just making assumptions.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there was a couple of times where I'm like, what did he say?
Yeah, pretty much. That was actually a lot of time. Probably about half or so. So yeah, like I couldn't like it was kind of hard to understand Venom just because the sound was so like like you said, aggressive.
Yeah,
But I feel like the film was just unfortunately it was too different. It was trying to be two different things. Where like it was about 30% trying to be a superhero film with Venom and Carnage, and then 70% trying to be this weird odd couple film, you know, about like mending a relationship.
Yeah, but not.
And it's like it didn't commit to one or the other.
Right, and it's not, and it isn't literally an odd couple with like the two like Walter Matthau, you know, right? And those movies are like endearing and funny because they work off each other and it like they have chemistry, right?
It also stays the focus of those. It
stays the focus, and a lot of that in Venom 1 I think is actually pretty good, right? It feels that way. But someone in the chat said it, and Kenny, I agreed with his assessment as well. The movie feels like it's trying really hard. Really, it's like they're trying to force the issue into the film a lot, and it goes so above and beyond. Where it's like,
you know what? I know you.
Really?
We constantly, we get into this argument all the time. Like, does the movie need to be R? Does it need to be R? I'm like, honestly, the jokes and shit in this movie would have flown better if you could have just shown him like straight up munching a dude's head off. You know, if you put in some like over the top gore with some of the cheese in this movie, that's adorable. I think it actually would have hit. Like, I feel like some of the jokes really would have landed better if you just if you went with that over the top cheesy gory like leaned into it hard.
Yeah. You know, I did like the Carnage in human form.
Yeah, I thought Woody Harrelson did a great job.
Woody did a pretty good job.
Which again, it's actually really weird because it feels like these actors are good actors and they're doing a good job. They're just kind of stuck in a shit script.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. They're stuck in a weird script and they're in a very non-committal movie. Like
somebody said another thing I agree with. Venom 1 was like a B, at least to me. It's like a good solid B. I liked it. I think Venom 2 is like a C minus. C to C minus.
I think it's an unfortunate C because I feel like it really could have gone. There really were a couple of different ways where you could see where this really could have worked.
Yeah.
And it didn't.
That's a good.
Like it just didn't. The jokes just didn't hit.
That is a really good call, WB. That violence and characterization and like humor is a tough thing to balance that very few films can do very well.
Yeah.
And yeah, James Gunn is like one of the directors that's really good at that. Sam Raimi, also a director that's pretty good at that, and historically, especially with like Evil Dead and stuff like that. So it's like that's a
the
unique.
thing. It feels like a PG-13 Evil Dead, which.
But not in. But not. But the thing, Evil Dead isn't made great because of its violence. Like, it's made great because of its characters.
You have a big creepy alien parasite with just this mouthful of teeth and fangs, and all he wants to do is go around and eat people and bite heads off and stuff like that, and they can't show it. Like even when they do it, they have to do like these really quick cutaways and stuff. So it's like I feel like it should have it should have just leaned hard into the comedy cheese, but give it the gore it needs to sell or land the jokes, or lean harder into a murder mystery or lean harder into a horror movie. But like it didn't lean hard into anything really, and I think that was to me that was just kind of the problem. I don't think it's the worst thing I've ever seen. I've definitely seen worse.
Yeah.
Like Andy Serkis directed it as well, and I just heard things about Jungle Book 2. I didn't see Jungle Book 2. It's a much more like visceral take on Jungle Book, but I feel like this movie's style is also fairly reminiscent of what is kind of done in that movie. So
It's not poorly shot or anything. There's actually some really cool visual moments. Like there's some key visuals. I'm like, that looks really cool. I like how they leaned into like a really cool, like this could be a comic book cover shots.
Absolutely. No, I mean visually the movie's.
Yeah.
I think the movie's fine. I think some of the
cool, amazing scenes with Carnage just doing Carnage stuff. Like, yo, that's sick.
It looks great.
That's sick.
Yeah.
I think the problem is that I just don't care about Venom. Right. And granted, like it's two weird alien symbiote monsters fighting each other. Like, what else are you asking for? I'm like, I get it, but I feel like Venom 1 had a little bit of charm.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of charm to this weird, quirky story about this guy losing his mind with an alien living inside of him. And now it's just annoying. Like, in the new movie, it came across as more annoying than charming.
And it didn't have to, because again, you see very early on in the film, like Venom has like these crazy good detective skills.
Yes, like he's way better at being a journalist than...
Right, but it's like, this could have been something cool where like you have this sort of argument where like, or Eddie and Venom are kind of like, they're always arguing with each other, but like, Venom keeps using these really cool detective style skills and shit. And it would have been could have been a neat mystery film, thriller mystery. But instead, that's kind of, that's like dropped like 3 minutes in.
Yeah. I think there's some parts of it that are good, but overall, it's a pass. Like, if you really love Venom...
This is the movie, it's the one movie that should have been day one streaming.
Yes.
On HBO Max.
Yes.
Like, this is absolutely the film
But it's
you
Sony.
would have been so glad you could watch on a streaming service instead of having to go to a theater. And it's like one of the one films that has no streaming options.
Yeah.
It gets strictly theater only, and boy, is it not worth it.
Yeah, I definitely felt like we did not need to be in a theater for this movie.
Yeah.
We did not need to.
Oh, man.
I feel it, because like, it's not... You don't get cool stuff until the third act, man. Like, there's a first and second act.
It takes some time.
And and the thing is, like, with a sequel, you've done it. You've shown, hey, it goes through this, and then let's get to the pie
Get
now,
to the good
right?
stuff, yeah.
Get to the good stuff. It's right. It'd be like if Batman 2 all of a sudden went again and showed Batman's parents getting killed again, and him
Oh, you
dealing
mean like
with
every
it.
Batman
Yeah, like
movie?
every Batman.
Well, that was actually a funny thing about Batman Returns that not a lot of people liked. It focused a lot on the Penguin.
Like I said, Batman Returns does not
It's an
care.
interesting movie.
Does not care
But
about being a Batman movie.
Batman Returns has a caveat. The Penguin's interesting. Like in that movie, the Penguin is weird and crazy, and Tim Burton to the biggest
I still
degree.
can't get over. It was like not even that long ago on stream. You're like, yeah, that was Pee Wee Herman as his dad. I was like, what?
Yeah.
It's been so long since I've seen it. I didn't
That's
know. Like,
Pee-wee,
oh my
that's his
god,
dad.
it was Paul Rubin.
And I agree with with Simmons. If you're not going to give us crazy, action throughout the sequel, make it this cool, mystery.
Make it a thriller, murder mystery,
and
like
stuff like that, where he's got to really. Where they kind of go into each other, and he starts noticing that something is off with him.
Yeah, make it like a Silence of the Lambs with a parasite.
Yeah.
That's one way I feel they could have really gone.
Yeah.
They could have gone
Because
Hannibal Lecter with it, but they didn't.
Yeah, because then I'm like, how does Cletus know so much about Eddie? And it's like,
that's our
that was what there were. Hey,
it's Haitian, and I'm thinking, I'm like, why? How do you know so much?
There were a few. There were more than one moment in that movie where I'm like, how the hell? Whatever.
Yeah, and that's maybe that's why the movie was
not
short.
as a spoiler. Like he doesn't know what the internet is really.
Yeah.
And he has all this information somehow. And there's a moment later on when he's in the world.
Yeah.
And he's like, do your internets or something like that. And then
Hack the planet. And I'm just like, how do whatever.
Carnage starts doing his internets and researches some crazy level 5
hacks
research,
the government
research. And I'm like, so how did he know all that stuff about it?
Yeah, and I was thinking about that too, and I'm like, yeah, because